Hi, my name is Robin. I'm an alcoholic. I've done the steps out of the big book with the help of a big book step study sponsor, meetings like this, and a higher power that I found here. I made some amends and try to work 10, 11, and 12 to the best of my ability on a daily basis. Thanks, Jocelyn, again for asking me to speak. I'm full of fear. It's very good that the topic is on fear because I know a lot about it. My fear isn't anything what it was, when I was still actively drinking or before I started this process or at the beginning of this process. I always had fear even before I drank. I was just a really shy child and, was just nervous about everything. And then, after I started drinking, the fear was more of the alcoholic type of fear of anxiety and negative imagination, apprehension, uncertainty. It was all based on, or will people find out, that I'm an alcoholic or know that I don't know what I'm doing. It's all negative perception, the fear that comes from alcoholism. One of the first sentences, it was an evil and corroding thread. You think about the fabric of our existence was shot through with it. So you think of a woven piece of fabric and, it's got different colored threads going through it, which is shot through with different colored threads. And if one's evil, then it's gradually weakening the whole fabric, and that the fabric, you can consider that your life. And, for me, fears just can snowball too. So there's the fear just growing and growing and growing. My fears, it's just most of my fears, they're not the kind for survival, which is what God gave us fear for as a survival mechanism, is just what my perceptions are. I think things, I decide things just based on what somebody looks at me funny and I think, oh, they hate me and they're talking about me. It's just all things that it's low self-esteem. And I did my inventory every time I wrote fear. It was, self-esteem, self-esteem, self-esteem. Or it was self-esteem, fear, the other way around. But I think after every one of my causes, it affects with self-esteem. So, my whole life was just low self-esteem based on fear of what people think of me, fear that I'm not good enough, fear of everything, that mostly fear of abandonment. I think fear of abandonment for me, which is probably something from early childhood something I don't even really remember, one of those inner child things that just fuels so many different fears. I have written down, like fear of confrontation, fear of setting boundaries, fear of betrayal, fear of showing emotion, fear of being left out, all based on that one fear of abandonment. So, things snowball, sets in trains of emotions which brought us misfortune we felt we didn't deserve. So, and fear, fear kept me from being my true self because I was afraid people wouldn't like me if I showed who I really was. And I couldn't really show who I really was because I was full of fear to even learn who I really was. I always kept myself hidden for self-preservation reasons that I don't even understand to these days. But the mechanics of the way I did it was to list the fear when I first had it, and then why did I have it? And for everyone it was because self-reliance failed me, and what should I have done instead? Trust and rely on God. I found that fear is really, I still have fear, but if I can say the fear prayer, And, God, please show me what you would have me be. Fear does abate. I mean, it never goes away, but, for example, if 5 years ago, if I'd been asked to speak, I would have spent a week full of fear about it, trying to prepare, agonizing, anxiety. Today, I probably spent a few hours this morning thinking about, how fear affects my life. And in another example was, I used to be terrified about giving presentations at work or speaking at work or even maybe in school. And I would have just, been so full of anxiety and fear that I couldn't have done it. And I had to do one at work, and it was maybe 5 years ago. And, I had to pray about it. I went in the bathroom and got down on my knees and prayed about it. And even though I was full of fear, I was able to function, and it's all about, letting go of ego deflation. Not everything's about me. People aren't judging me. They're just there to listen to what I have to say. Fear is only based on how much I can trust and rely on God. Faith, I have to have faith that God has my back. Faith means courage. And it's the only way I can alleviate my fears. I have to stop thinking I have control over everything, because I don't. Every day I pray to God that He guides my actions, that I not run on self-will. Fear is about not fear. So my fears, I'm not going to get what I want. You're not going to do what I want you to do. None of that stuff really matters anymore. It's more about what can I offer life. I have no idea how long I've been going. So I had 38 fears on my list, and when I was looking at them today, I could see that a lot of them were just redundant and listed in a different way. And they were all, all, like I said before, based on low self-esteem. Betrayal, success, change, showing emotion, being left out, asking for help, fear of rejection, fear of confrontation and criticism. I just wanted people to like me, and so I'm going to go to any lengths to make sure that happens, whether it means compromising myself, not asking for what I want, not setting boundaries. That was a huge one for me. Not showing anger, not feeling anger, because I just stuffed it, because I figured, people wouldn't like me if I showed anger. So, one of the other two things I kind of chuckled at this morning when I was reading it, I had fear of the future and fear of the past. So now it's like I don't have to worry about the past because it's gone. And, I guess I was always worried that, always just concerned. So having done an inventory, I don't really have to worry about the past so much because I can let that go. And it's gone. All I can do is move forward. And fear of the future these days is mostly like will my retirement money last me till I die? So, and those are things that I can, I can only do so much, and I do take the steps that are necessary that I can do to avoid, avoid financial destitution as best I can. But, I can, like I said, I can only take the steps to do what I can do, and I can't spend the rest of my life, stewing about it or just endlessly worrying about it. I'm going to be fine regardless. It's. And the other one, my newest one, I was talking to Jocelyn about, is fear of forgetting. Because I'm getting older and I'll be talking and all of a sudden my mind just goes blank. And I have to learn ways to recover quickly. Or maybe people don't even notice and there's my perception gone askew again. So, the bottom line with fear is that I have to have trust and rely on God. And that, as I wrote after every one of my fears, trust and rely on God. One of the other things, I guess the other thing I was supposed to list after my fear is when did I first have it? And most of mine are, in childhood sometime, or, and so if I carry those fears on, I'm still having, probably based on some childhood belief that's actually wasn't true. So, it's that stuff snowballs, and I carry it through for my entire life. And, it didn't have to wait this long to figure out that all my fears are ego-driven, self-preservation. So today I have faith. I trust and rely on God. I pray about fear. I pray every day, and fear isn't something that goes away. Every day I need to pray. I have to trust and rely on God on a daily basis. I have to pray on a daily basis. I have to stay close to my higher power, because this stuff doesn't stick with me unless I work at it. And so it's so easy to fall back into a state of fear about everything. But, I have to trust and rely on God. So with that, I'll close. Thank you.